safe and filled with lots of fun and restful energy, got their butts back in the seats in movie theaters this weekend as 70% of movie theaters reopened in the country, albeit not in the two major markets here in the United States, Los Angeles and in New York, but they're opening across the country, and more people are itching to get out of their homes and back into theaters to see what is actually playing, and it's not a lot. Before we get started with the show, I want to say what's up to Pablo in Los Angeles, and we'll get some more people here in the feed. As again, I said, I'm Jason Carter coming to you live from Miami, Florida, with today's Cold Pop Truth. Tenet has been a saga for Christopher Nolan, and that movie has been a saga for fans of his work. It was supposed to open in July of this year, early this summer, after being pushed back before, of course, due to coronavirus, and it finally bowed in theaters over the weekend, doing a respectful $20 million, which is what, of course, people were not expecting to see for that movie. They were expecting it to be more, but given the fact of the state of the world in our country, $20 million isn't something to shake your nose at. It got a 74% score on Rotten Tomatoes, and some people felt that it was a bit of a letdown. But with that said, though, Tenet didn't really have any competition in theaters because it was the only movie to open this weekend in theaters. So it starred John David Washington as well as Robert Pattinson in a Christopher Nolan type situation, which is really thought-provoking and very, I would say, lengthy to actually get into when it comes to movies like that from Christopher Nolan. But it's getting people to think about returning back to movie theaters. And the AMC, which is the largest movie theater company in the world, has been opening movie theaters across the country slowly but surely with enhanced safety precautions in regards to COVID-19 and how movie goers can feel more secure, can feel more safe when they are attending the facilities and the theaters. So good for them. They're referencing that, or they're predicting, according to USA Today, that the movie cost about $200 million to make, and it would need to make $500 million globally to break even on its big price tag. But that does not seem likely, although it is faring a lot better overseas. So will Tenet be the blockbuster that it's supposed to be? All will be revealed, and we will see as the future will let us know if people want to return to the movies. Moving on to streaming news, Mulan, which is another big ticket item for Disney, $200 million pre-marketing to create Mulan, a reimagination of the 1997 animated film about a young woman who poses as a man to keep her father from having to go off and fight the war. It's very Hunger Games. Mulan is very, very pre-Hunger Games if you think about it. Like, she offers herself as tribute. Hey, true, right? But the movie is coming under fire because of where it's been shot. Now, it was shot in Xinjiang province of China, which is close to Beijing, and that province has come under fire and has been heavily, I would say, surveilled and heavily watched by officials because of the treatment of Uyghur Muslims in the area. Allegedly, close to 1 million Uyghur Muslims have been forced into concentration camps, if you will. This is all from reporting, and have been forced to go through a cleansing of sorts, cultural cleansing, them being stripped of their religion because of how the Chinese feels about their placement in the country. And the star of Mulan, Yifei Liu, also came under fire earlier this year for her support of police brutality against pro-democracy protesters, saying that she would allow for the police to beat her in order to keep the current regime that is in China. Now, at the end of Mulan, what's really pissing people off is that Disney thinks some of the entities that are at the forefront or at the helm of these really radical, I would say, I don't want to say extermination because they're not killing people, but they're forcing people to live a life that they're not okay with. Hey, Peter, in Seattle. So she's in support of that. And people are calling for the boycott of Mulan in Asia because that's where the majority of this strife is happening. So we'll see what happens with that. Disney has not released their weekend numbers in regards to who paid the extra $30 to stream Mulan on Disney Plus. Last week we had Nikki Novak from Fandango who talked about what that entails about you paying $7 a month for Disney Plus, and you can also pay an additional $30 to own Mulan once you purchase it, and you can stream it whenever. Was that a good move for Disney? All will be revealed as well, and we'll see who actually jumped on the bandwagon when and if they do announce their numbers over the weekend. So what do you guys think? The question is, should movie theaters or movie companies or studios stay out of politics? Should they stay out of politics? Should they have been more aware of the state of the world in China, especially in the Xinjiang province, and what's happening with Uyghur Muslims, and essentially the poor treatment of other human beings? Should a company like Disney, who makes money hand over fist and claims to stand in solidarity with all marginalized groups? We saw Disney, of course, post black boxes, release statements in regards to Black Lives Matter. Should they stay out of it? In the critics, they think, as I said, many entities that have been complicit, allegedly, in the treatment of these Uyghur Muslims in this area where they shot this movie. So, of course, there's going to be red tape they have to engage in. There's going to be certain obligations they have to comply with, which I'm not sure what they are, but I would imagine there's contractual obligations that Disney has to fulfill when they film abroad, much like when they film here in the States, Louisiana, Atlanta, New Mexico, all these outside of Hollywood locations that they have to have special permissions and be granted the right to exist in these spaces. So should they stay out of politics? Or turn a blind eye? Again, the word is complicit. Are they complicit? Right? And Disney is known for being a family-centric, family-friendly company. I know people who worked at Disney that say, hey, this is the tea about how things go down and the image they want to protect and the image they have to protect and want to uphold. A movie like Mulan, major budget, $200 million, which nowadays doesn't seem like a lot when it comes to making a movie, because movies make that, especially a Disney movie, makes that in a weekend globally. Opens globally with that. That's like, if it doesn't do that, that's the floor. That's the bare minimum. Pablo says, Pablo did pay for Mulan. It became a fun movie night, but the movie was meh. A lot of the live action remakes I'm seeing from Disney, The Jungle King, Lion King, the list goes on, really didn't hit the nail because Disney made their money on these titles as animated features. Disney is the king of animation. DreamWorks second. Disney, though, they wrote the book on animated films. So when you reimagine these fabled, legendary, generational titles like, again, The Jungle Book. What else was one? Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast, or whatever. I said Sleeping Beauty. That hasn't been Sleeping Beauty. Beauty and the Beast. In live action, it kind of takes away from what we've been programmed and proselytized and primed into believing about Disney and what we want to see. So I was never a fan of Mulan. I will say, though, in 1997, when Mulan was an animated feature in the movie theaters, McDonald's had a yummy Sichuan, like Asian sauce you'd get with the nuggets. I mean, full confession, I absolutely love McDonald's chicken nuggets. I don't know what they're made of. I'm sure they're made of like walrus or something. PETA, don't come for me. However, they're delicious. And they had pineapple pies. It was very kind of culturally appropriating what people of Asian descent eat, because not all people of Asian descent eat pineapple or Szechuan sauce, but it was delicious. Nonetheless, just a little trip down memory lane right there. So are you guys going to see Tenet? Are you going to see Tenet? I was nowhere near excited to see that movie. John David Washington's having a moment. We loved him in Black Klansman. He's an incredible actor. Of course, his father is an incredible actor. He comes from a pedigree of incredible actors, of amazing otherworldly actors. But that movie, coupled with Robert Pattinson, and a movie that I have to think about and really like get into, no thank you. We expend and we expel, so much mental, I would say, energy existing in a time of quarantine and existing in 2020 that I do not want to go to the movies and have to do that to watch this movie. So there's that. Pablo says, I want to, but no theaters open here in LA anytime soon, which is interesting. That's a great point. I mean, of course, I just came from Los Angeles. And Pablo, that's an interesting point about movie theaters not opening in Los Angeles for some reason. I don't understand why LA is so quick, or it hasn't been quick to reopen movie theaters with how quick a lot of places have been outfitted. I mean, the movie industry is well underway back in Los Angeles. I was on set for a very popular TV show about a month ago, and the outfitting that they have for COVID prevention was immense, immense and very involved. So, with that said, malls are open, restaurants are open. The same type of environment, the same type of activity that happens in these places where you're sitting next to someone, where you're in an enclosed space, where you are around multiple people, or people are coming in and out of your space. It's the exact same thing that could happen in a movie theater, except movie theaters allow for a more controlled social distancing. You just limit the amount of seats you sell because we buy things online, Fandango, ArcLight. And then you have seating, so they can control the seating patterns digitally. So it's really bizarre how movie theaters haven't opened. Another thing that's really bizarre that hasn't reopened is Apple stores. There is nary an Apple store open here in Miami. I'm not sure about Los Angeles, but all the Apple stores here in Miami have been closed. There's 12, I would say, in the Miami-Dade, Hollywood, Fort Lauderdale area, all closed. So I don't know. I wonder why. I'm not too sure why companies are dragging their feet reopening, because we know what it's good for, and that's their bottom line. Gyms as well. Is it the money that it takes to outfit these buildings or these spaces that's holding them back from reopening? Because they haven't. Yes, money's down, revenue's down, but businesses are smart and have cash reserves for things of this nature. Now, this is unprecedented, of course, but with that said, deep pockets exist with these companies. Deep pockets. So, I don't know. Anyways, are you guys going to go see Tenet, and are you going to stream Mulan? Not a lot of entertainment news going on today, unfortunately, because the weekend was not chock full of a lot. But guys, keep it locked right here on HAPS, the network of now. This is Jason Carter for the Cold Pop Truth. I will see you guys tomorrow with some more entertainment news and some more entertainment updates. You guys take care.